All right, it's 9:30. I appreciate everybody being here this morning. We'll get started with our pre-meeting work session for our 10 o'clock council meeting. First item on the agenda was approval of monthly bills, approved May 2025 monthly bills. There were no changes. Any questions? Approval of minutes. No changes. Any questions? Weed abatements. There were no changes. Any questions? All right, resolutions. Resolution 25097, authorize mayor to approve enterprise fleet management lease agreement, sale of city-owned vehicles, table June 2nd. No changes. Any questions? Resolution 25106, approval for custom POS systems for each Point Mallard Park venue, tabled from June 2nd, 2025.
No changes unless you all have questions.
I don't think I have any right now. Any questions? All right, resolution 25112, authorize mayor to approve MOU to continue SRO program with Decatur City Schools, tabled from June 2nd, 2025.
Yes, sir. I talked with Dwight Satterfield, and our request is that be removed from the agenda, in which he and the chief and deputy chief have reviewed it. He wants to make some additional changes, and he wants to get their input. So we'd ask that just be removed, and we'll bring it back once that's accomplished.
All right, any questions?
Thank you.
We'll remove item C. Resolution 25126, approve FY 2025 mid-year budget adjustments.
There was only one addition from the P2 list, and it was the animal shelter's vehicle with the kennel on the back. So that will be added to the overall adjustment for the mid-year adjustments. Just wanted to make sure.
We may need more. Carl, what kind of those leaf machines completely shot?
We got one that's pretty much shot, one that's been worked on more than it's used, and we got one that's working pretty good. So,
Can we, I mean, it's coming from unassigned, basically.
My preference on the leaf things being that you're just bringing it up now would be that we do that later on and have a full discussion. I know internally the mayor and I have had some talks with Carl and Daniel about our strategy as it comes to leaf pickup. So if we could kind of huddle up, allow us to huddle up and then bring forward a presentation.
My point being, it's coming from the same.
Correct. There is no need to rush it right now to get it on here. We can do it in a week's time
It's
if
not
need be.
leaf season anyway.
But there's probably some lead time, I would assume.
Yes. Yeah.
we wouldn't want to wait till October when we're already picking up these for the order.
And I wanted to make a note. You brought up SSUT. We kind of gave an update last week on, and I kind of caught me off guard. I have my stuff, but I wanted to share certain things because you kind of sparked some discussion, and it's important that everyone knows. So we started, the SSUT program started in 2016, and that mix, if you compare total sales tax versus our SSUT, in 2017, which was the first full year we collected it, it was 0.07%. It is now 7.2%. Okay? So the easiest way to give an illustration of what this SSUT really is assume you have a $100 purchase here in Decatur, and the consumer will pay $109 because of a 9% sales tax. Of the $9 in tax, $4 goes to the state and $5 to local government. So pay close attention to these details. Of the $4 to the state, $3.76 is allocated to the Education Trust Fund, 24 cents to the State General Fund. Of the $5 to local government, $3 to the city's general fund, $1 to Decatur City Schools, and $1 to Morgan County. So now let's assume you make that same $100 purchase on a company that's in the SSUT program, DoorDash, Amazon, whoever. The total cost of that consumer is $108, so $1 less. Of the $8, $4 goes to the state, but that split is $1 to the Education Trust Fund and $3 to the State General Fund. And of the $4 to the local government, only 3 cents gets allocated to the city general fund and 1 cent to Decatur City Schools. And lastly, 4 cents to Morgan County. The 50% portion of that local government that's divided up is done by population. And there are 67 counties in Alabama, 464 municipalities. It's not hard to see the inequities of that system. So we as a Big Ten came up with a strategy of how to estimate our losses to create impact. And we used the U.S. Census Bureau Department of Commerce's retail report, which states 16% of sales tax were performed online. The city of Decatur lost $7.5 million in FY24 and an estimated $47.8 million since the inception of this program in 2016. And it's worth noting that that report, we get the percentage of sales online. It's grown from 7.5% in 2016 to 16% in 2024. So I wanted to share that with you because it's something we've, as a Big Ten, have been working on for years. And I really think that people need to be aware of it, and the people that make the decisions in Montgomery should be understanding of it to look into this too, because it will impact us.
A couple of questions. I know I read in the daily the explanation of the gas tax revenue being down. If you take that 200,000 out, does it track?
It's slightly under, but it's basically flat.
And then another question too. There's another 200,000 for mowing contracts.
Those were just additional mows. With all the rain, we're having to cut more, and our price is per cut basis.
And we brought in a few more properties.
And yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions? Thanks, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
All right. Resolution 25-127, approved vacation 557-25 928 Sims Street, dedication of 20-foot wide drainage, utilities, and telecom easement. No changes. Any questions? Resolution 25-128, approved minor modification to modify the cell floor for proposed cell 17 to a multi-tier system ensuring minimum groundwater clearance throughout the cell for Decatur Morgan County Regional Landfill permit 25-. Any questions? Resolution 25-129, authorize the mayor to submit the city consolidated annual performance and evaluation report to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Any questions? Resolution 25-130, authorize the mayor to enter agreement for purchase of 823 19th Avenue Southeast.
No change.
Any questions? Resolution 25-131, accept Alabama Historic Commission grant for digital certificate of appropriateness submission. Any questions? Resolution 25-132, approve People's Bank parking lot lease extension.
There's no change to that.
Okay, any questions?
Thank you.
Resolution 25-134, authorize the mayor to sign change order number 1 for rec center.
No changes.
Any questions? Ordinances, first reading, ordinance 25-4611, adopt city code section 16-22.3, unlawful bypass of a security checkpoint. No changes. Any questions? All right, we'll get started at 10.
I'll go up and pull it up. There we go.
call the meeting to order. Alan Silver will lead us in our invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, God, as we come to you today, God, we thank you for your many blessings. God, we thank you for this city. We thank you for this state, this country. God, I thank you for those men and women, God, who lay their lives down every day so that we can be free, God. God, so that we're able to come to meetings like this, God, and we're able to express ourselves. God, we owe a debt of gratitude to each one of them, God, who puts their life on the line. God, we pray for protection for them. God, we pray for this council and this city, God, that we would make the decisions that you would have us to make, God, that you would be pleased with. God, we thank you and we praise you, God, for all that you are. God, we thank you for just being with us, God. We thank you that one day you went to the cross for our sins, that we might be free. God, thank you for all that you do for us. In Jesus Christ's holy name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Alan. Roll call.
Wagner.
Here.
Pike. Jackson.
Here.
McMasters.
Here.
Pepper.
All right, we will get started with agenda-related comments. Mr. Faruqi was first on the list.
Okay, ordinance 254611, why is that necessary? Hope you're not wasting my time and yours. Because it says in the ordinance, well, first off, Chip, I believe, said that this thing was asked for by the police department. At least that's what the news is reporting. And it finds here that the city council finds that the city and other entities, blah, blah, blah. So who in the city council believe this needs to happen?
It's adopted. It was requested, as you said. We'll take it up in the next meeting.
Okay. It is unnecessary because we already have a lot of regulations and rules that cover a lot of this. And it's also insufficient. Its measures are ineffective, it says here. And then there's this fear of a risk of death, according to this ordinance. Have we had any examples of this risk of death?
I'm not aware of any.
Okay, it sounds like this is being produced by the old regime in the police department for fear, or the city employees, that someone's going to come into this building and do something harmful. It sounds like there's a lot of fear involved in this, and when we're trying to get past that, this is not helpful.
Let me, I'm sorry, Mr. Faruqi. Let me comment on that, please. I am in favor of this, and I'll tell you why. Excuse me, I can't clear my throat. I don't have a problem with this enforcement at all. As far as people bypassing the gates or the measures that we have in place to make sure that this is a safe environment or other safe environments, I don't have a problem with that. I do have concerns about who we authorize to go around those things. And so that's where my concern is. It's not about the ordinance. I don't think that anybody should pass through it. I go through the gates every time I come into the building. But the thing is that I think that we need to keep it a safe environment. But when we pick and choose who comes through, because anybody can be that danger, that's where I have concerns. So I don't have a problem with the ordinance itself. I do have concerns with the fact that we are not enforcing it for everyone.
Well, that doesn't, addressing it for everyone is not part of what's in this ordinance.
I understand, and that's why I say the ordinance is different from that aspect of it.
Okay, and it also begs the question again, is where are these examples that necessitates this ordinance?
In my mind, it doesn't necessarily take an example, because all it takes is once. And if it happens once, then we come back later, we're saying we wish we had something in place. So
okay, that's a very fearful reaction to a proposed ordinance, to fear that because something might happen in the future, we're going to stop it now by doing X. Show me where that has happened, and I'll agree with you on that. The second issue, SROs, there's no MOU assigned. You're going to vote on it, but where is the MOU? Okay. Number 3, the budget. There's a $400K for insurance. I'm assuming it's an increase. Is that correct?
Yeah, it would be an increase.
Okay. Do we know what necessitated that desire to have an increase? or need?
Desire?
Need.
Definitely didn't have the desire to. We can ask that when it's time to vote.
Okay, well, maybe we should have asked that at the prior work session when I could have brought this up, and we could have had some answers at this point.
We can get them if we request it.
Okay. The CAPER, 460K basically came into the city. A lot of charges are going to administrative fees, 15% going to the manager, 15, not of the 400K, but of his pay, and also for the admin specialist and the grant administrator. Now, the success ratio for how well this program is working is we have in the target area, which as I understood from the briefing I saw a couple of months ago, is largely Hispanic. Do you know how many Hispanics are part of this program?
No.
Okay, the answer is 1 out of 21. So the effectiveness of our ability to develop a program that's going to help people get into homes is very ineffective. Last thing, more money for the Wilson Morgan Park. You know, I'd like to know why, 77K for adverse weather conditions. What else are we going to have to pay for? Like the Pyramid, which is over at Point Mallard right now for pickleball players. Inefficient.
All right, Sharonda Acklin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And a lot of what I want to speak on was in regards to the security bypass as well. And you, Mr. Jackson, kind of hit on what I was going to speak about, because my thing is that who are we keeping safe and from who? Because if you allow any bypass, then that one person that you allow to bypass could be the one that creates an issue or causes harm. Even here in City Council, we had a councilman threaten that he was going to start open carrying to the council meetings, and he has the capability to bypass security. And so if we're concerned of the safety of the public, then why should anyone bypass? Everyone should be required to go through.
I guess my only comment to that, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I do know that probably, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, anywhere you would go that has security, like across the street, even the airport, people do bypass the same security scrutiny that the general public is going through. There is bypass to that. So, but that's not necessarily a reason for us not to do that. I think employees might be a little different, but also have no problem if I need to go through.
But because other people do it, does that make it acceptable or the norm?
But it's, that can be a guide. It doesn't necessarily mean it's right, but look for ways that it's worked for others and go for it.
So I guess I'm curious as to what is the purpose of anyone to bypass?
My assumption in other cases, I don't know, but is that they probably undergo background checks. I think when we give passes to people that are not city employees or council,
Board members.
they go through, they have a background check, I think. So there's other ways. Of course, if you're an employee, you go through those type of things. But
And this is not an argument, but everybody has a bad day.
Regardless of the background check.
Everybody has a bad day. And
that matters.
Yeah, and I think background checks do matter, and they go to a certain extent. But everybody has a bad day. The last time, I don't think you were here, Jacob, but the example that I used that was the term going postal. And that was kind of adopted because there was in situations where postal workers went in, they were employees, former employees who were considered to be safe, who were not considered to be threats. And so I think that hopefully it never happens here. That's the big thing. Hopefully we never have it happen. So I don't have the concern with the precautions that we're taking. I don't have a problem with coming through the gate, but I do have concerns that this could be anybody. This could be anybody having a bad day. This could be anybody having a bad relationship at home. This could be any situation that tips that person over the edge. So again, people who we know as good people and people who are good employees and have been good employees for quite some time, they can go over the edge. And so that's the only problem that I have with this is not the ordinance itself, but how we're going to enforce it and who's going to be able to pass through it. That's just my concern.
Absolutely. Thank you.
thank you, Sarah.
My concerns were Mr. Jackson and Sharonda's.
right, moving to the agenda, approval of monthly bills is first on the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye. May 2025 monthly bills listed 3-0. Approval of minutes. Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye. Minutes are approved 3-0. Weed abatements, we're going to take as one. Motion by Mr. McMasters,
Second.
second by Mr. Jackson. Josh, did you have anything?
Nope.
Any discussion?
My position is the same as always. My position has not changed. So that's what
All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
McMasters.
Aye. Weed abatements are approved, voted 2-1. Resolutions, Resolution 25097, authorize mayor to approve Enterprise Fleet Management Incorporated lease agreement, sale of city-owned vehicles, tabled for June 2nd. Kyle.
Don't have a whole lot to comment on related to this. I think we've talked about this for a few times. Grant and Alex are here today to answer any additional questions that may be had. A little bit brief history. We pass money each year for fleet upgrades. Looked at this solution to potentially speed up that process, bring a little more value as it comes to safety of our driving and ensuring that they're driving in places they need to be driving to. So this solution is presented to solve some of those problems. We met, we call this the pilot program, so met with each department that would be affected by this, did a thorough analysis of their current fleet and the use and how often they're using it, and then tried to mold this solution to better suit our needs. So that's kind of where we're at today, but open to any questions.
I guess talk, and I know you've already done this, but just pilot how many vehicles that are in its non-public safety.
It's 30 vehicles. So the kind of the pitch that was presented when we started this was, in order for you to see the effectiveness of the program, doing 5 to 10, you really wouldn't. The theory was getting to 30%. So of the non-public safety vehicles, this gets us close to that 30% mark to see the effectiveness. So that's kind of the place we did. And then obviously we looked at the departments that we could fit into, 30 to 40 vehicles without doing half a department and getting it all mixed up. So that was the mindset.
So if you don't like the effectiveness, what's it look like to roll it back?
I'll let Grant kind of touch on that. I have an idea, but he'll do a better job of explaining that one.
A little bit how it works is basically if you guys want to stop doing business with us, there's no legal terms on it. The only thing you're obligated to actually pay is the lease term of the vehicle that you owe on it. Other than that, there's no obligation to do business with us. That's it. So if y'all
you would go through the lease term and then you could buy your own vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 100%.
All right. Any other discussion or questions? All right. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Masters.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion?
We've gone back and forth with this thing for, put it off twice now. And my concern is, I've spoken with several different people, and at least agencies, I've spoken with Lynn Layton and other people. And I've not gotten any real consensus as to, some are saying that it could be good, some are saying that, we're kind of tied in. Just hearing what I heard this morning, I'm going to go along with it now at this particular point, just because we can get out of it. It's a small portion of this, but I still have great concerns. I'm not sold either way, really, to be quite frank with you, but I'm going to look at it, see if it's going to be beneficial for us on this small basis, and hopefully if it does and we can show where it's beneficial and where we're saving dollars, then we can expand it or keep going forward with it. If not, then we can get out of it. So I'll support it today. I won't say reluctantly, but I still have concerns.
Good. Yeah, and I definitely would address those concerns if you have them, if you want to send them over an email.
Good deal, but I didn't want to speak to the person who was selling us the product to answer those questions.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, it's fine.
That's what we're
And he gave us references, just.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion? All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye. Resolution 25-097 approved 3-0. Resolution 25-106, approval for custom POS system for each Point Mallard Park venue, tabled for June 2nd, 2025.
Good morning. We've been through a couple of different work sessions and things now, so I guess from here I just need to know if you all have any more questions. I do have Dharmesh here as well to answer those.
Any questions, or we want to put it on the floor first?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. McMaster.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion?
I guess my only concern, and after speaking with Herman this morning, was if you look at item 5, it says cost. It says it is $120,000. So it's Herman's interpretation and mine as well that is a ceiling. So we're not going to see that potential for it to balloon beyond, what this is written here. Granted, that is per year, and that was really the only question I had.
Correct. That would be for 3 consecutive years doing multiple different parts of the park, but yes, that's correct.
And I've gotten calls. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you finished it. I apologize. Go ahead.
That's okay. Other than the service, the maintenance, which I also want to be transparent about for the annual maintenance, which we've kind of talked about as well.
And I've gotten calls about the interchangeability with other products that could do this for much less cost. I don't know if they're quite as interchangeable once you start looking into it that way. Again, I'll try this. I know it's expensive, or it seems to be expensive, but I'll try it. But if it's not what it pans out to be, and we can find something that's less expensive, I will look to move in a different direction.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I appreciated the benchmarks you sent. Those are very helpful. It is expensive, but in the scheme of developing a custom software, it's really not that bad. And I'm going to support it. I won't be here through most of this contract. But I do want to say I've been involved in custom builds of software when we couldn't find the right canned product, and they can get way out of control really fast.
Sure.
So in this, I know we got a reference from Lightwire, and I appreciate that, but the council, the administration following this one has got to be ready to pull the plug if it's not working.
Yeah.
Just the benchmarks are important, and I know we're not tying you to those, and we shouldn't, but we need to be on that track as we move forward. So that's my only concern. I mean, I've been in one that's decades long and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and it just, you got to be ready to pull the plug if it looks like it's going south. So that's my warning, but I will support it. Any other questions? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye. Resolution 25-106 approved 3-0.
Thank you. We'll call and let you know how well it works.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, we removed 25-112. Moved to resolution 25-126, approve FY 2025 mid-year budget adjustments.
Again, I won't give you my couple-minute speech, but this is the annual mid-year adjustment time. Attached to the resolution is the list of the items that would be adjust. Do you want me to answer the question related to insurance that citizen? So no different than anybody else's insurance. Our insurance went up as well. Mine at my house did. I know personally. I just think insurance, my opinion, insurance is getting a little more expensive. And then on top of that, we've added new assets to the policy. So we're insuring things that would cost more to replace. So that's the best answer I can give for that. And I will say we are relatively conservative during the original budget time. That specific line item is in our miscellaneous budget, so it's kind of a catch-all comprehensive budget spot. So a lot of times we're going off of prior year estimates, and in this instance, we were short, but that's the purpose of the mid-year, is to be able to look at it this time and make those corrections.
Do you know what the total budget was for that line item?
I don't off the top. I can get that for you.
The reason I asked is I think percentage-wise, it's probably not that big of an adjustment. Is a guess.
Yeah.
I mean, relatively. but-
I'd have to look. I do want to make it very clear that insurance everywhere has gone up, so,
RSA has,
everywhere.
All of mine.
And I don't foresee it ever going the other way, so.
all right,
So,
motion by Mr. McMasters.
Second.
Second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion?
I don't think you want me to discuss insurance right now. Especially not all state, but anyway.
What did he say?
I'll let you need to move forward. All right, roll call.
Blackner.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye. Resolution 25-126 is approved 3-0. Resolution 25-127, approved vacation 55725, 928 Sim Street, dedication of 20-foot wide drainage, utilities, and telecom easement.
Good morning, council.
Morning.
Just want y'all to know that I'd like to add that Decatur Utilities has approved this vacation and realignment. And do y'all have any questions for me?
so moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters.
Second.
Second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call.
Blackner.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Resolution 25-127 is approved 3-0. Resolution 25-128, approved minor modification to modifying the cell floor for proposed cell 17 to a multi-tier system ensuring minimum groundwater clearance throughout the cell for Decatur Morgan County Regional Landfill Permit 52-03.
Wanda Tyler, Landfill and Recycling. We're in the process of getting ready for our next cell, which is cell 17. We're in the design process. Purite McAnally went out there and found out that we have a few drainage issues. So we're asking for you all to approve us to go before ADEM with this application to approve a minor modification of the way we're going to build the south portion of cell 17. And this minor modification will cost us $2,730.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters, second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call.
Blackner.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution 25-128 approved 3-0. Resolution 25-129, authorize the mayor to submit the city consolidated annual performance and evaluation report to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Alan?
Yeah, this is our annual report that we are required to send to HUD. One thing that I would just make the council aware, any time that community development spends on this grant, we do timesheets, so we do not get reimbursed from the city only for time that we specifically spend on this grant, whether it's myself, our grants administrator, our administrative specialist. We're only reimbursed for what we spend on this grant.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters, second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call.
Blackner.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Resolution 25-129 approved 3-0. Resolution 25-130, authorize the mayor to enter agreement for purchase of 823 19th Avenue Southeast.
Yeah, this is a request that we had from a resident adjacent property. I'm sorry, it's not an adjacent property owner that requested purchasing this property. So this state has sent us back approval to sell this to us, and we're just need to move forward with that. You'll see on the next coming agendas that once we get the deeds, we'll convey this property back out.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters. Second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call.
Blackner.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Resolution 25-130 is approved 3-0. Resolution 25-131, accept Alabama Historic Commission grant for digital certificate of appropriateness submission.
Yeah, this is just to streamline our COAs for the Historic Commission.
Motion by Mr. McMasters.
Second.
Second by Mr. Jackson.
And it is a no-match grant.
No match.
Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
Jackson. McMasters.
Resolution 25-131
Thank you.
approved 3-0. Thanks, Alan. Resolution 25-132 approved People's Bank parking lot lease extension.
Yeah, this is just an extension of that agreement. They're responsible to maintain the property, landscape it, and I went by once or twice, and they've done a very effective job over the years of making it. It's at the corner of 14th Street and US 31, and they've done an excellent job, and it's beneficial to them. I'm not sure what the city would do with it otherwise. We certainly do not want to maintain it like they are. So that's what it does. It's a win-win for all of us.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters. Second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
Jackson. McMasters.
Aye.
Resolution 25-132 is approved 3-0. Resolution 25-134 authorize the mayor to sign change order number one for the rec center. Carl.
Yes, Mayor Council. This is a change order for a rec center. A lot of it has to do with changing in architectural drawings and some engineering. The other involves weather. We've had a good amount of rain over the last several months, which caused some issues that I guess the contractor need to get reimbursed for. And another part was we hit groundwater at about 8 feet, so we had to do some changing to drain that water out from underneath the building.
Motion by Mr. McMasters.
I'll second get it on the agenda.
Second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion?
And this is added roughly 12 days.
Correct.
To what?
I've not supported this from the very beginning, so I won't support it today.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
McMasters.
Aye. Resolution 25-134 is approved 2-1. Next, we have ordinances first reading. Ordinance 25-4611 adopt City Code Section 16-22.3 unlawful bypass of a security checkpoint. Anything to add? Any questions? All right, that will be on the next agenda. All right, we'll move into our public comment portion of the meeting. Same rules. Oh, I'm sorry. Anything else from department?
Whatever. Okay, I just wanted to make sure and say this publicly. I know we've put out some things on our Facebook and web pages and things, but Point Mallard Park had an event scheduled tonight, which was the Swim with the Mermaids event. Due to the weather forecast, we are pushing that back and going to reschedule that hopefully for the next Monday. So I just wanted to make sure I said that publicly for everyone who has purchased a ticket.
Okay, thanks. Anything else? Do you have something? You were waving. All right, we'll move into public comment portion. Same rules. We always have 3 minutes with 1 minute to wrap up, and we'll start with Mr. Barucki.
Excuse me just 1 second. One, do you want me to just call you, or are you going to be around here? Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay. We started this meeting with an invocation with addressing God's presence in this meeting. And during the course of the meeting, we spent $12.5 million over 548 checks, and we had 26 agenda items, of which the people of this city had a total of 4 minutes to address everything on there, including these checks and 26 agenda items. Now, I don't know why we can't resolve, or somebody in this room as a councilman to resolve that what we're currently doing as a process to allow for citizen input is wrong. It's ineffective. It doesn't allow citizen input. In fact, it does the opposite. In the history of, and you're a history major, do you recall the Intolerable Acts?
Yes.
Okay. I would offer to you what you have done in city council in terms of addressing our ability to have free speech, our ability to have, and citizens off this door the last month to have due process for something called trespassing falls into that category of intolerable acts. Limits on speech at the work sessions, no ability Well, we still don't know what percentage, because you asked it, what percentage of increase do we have on insurance as a result of $400,000 being spent in addition to what was programmed before? But you voted on it.
Yeah.
You voted on it in ignorance.
No, I know exactly what it was. He explained what it was for, and we all voted for it.
Well, you voted on it because you were sold a bill of goods that said $400K. In the grand scheme of things, everything costs more. Well, how much, what percentage more are we now paying? You don't know. I would also offer to you a resolution to define the L&O responsibilities for you as councilmen would be not only appropriate, but mandatory and required, especially for anybody who's going to attempt to sit in that seat again over the next 4 years. Because right now, your L&O responsibilities have gone by and you have not done anything to educate the citizens of this community. Or have you, Mr. McMasters? I thought not. Unacceptable, just plain unacceptable. We can do better. That's the first thing I said when I came here 16 months ago. I said, you can do better. You can do better with things like vehicle management. You finally took you 16 months to figure that out. But you can do better. You need to do better. This city is going to get swamped if you don't. Or you can just turn it over to the next council. Let them run with that ball. Let them run with what you have said as precedent, because
I hope they do.
God help us if they do.
Thank you. All right, Sharonda Ackland.
All right, 2 weeks ago when we had council, I came and I spoke about a portion of 6th Avenue that does not have lights. Update?
We do have an update. Do you remember, there was something blue and knocked those lights out. I did notice, I was actually driving back in from the airport Thursday night, and those were still out, but something blew up and caused that section of lights to go out. DU is aware of it. I can't remember the details.
I read somewhere that that's like the busiest intersection, street indicator, right? So why is it 2 weeks later and nothing has happened?
They are aware and they're working on.
But it had been like that for like a month before I said anything. It's now been 2 weeks later.
It happened pretty close to when you talked to us, maybe a week before, but they are aware it's a much larger issue than just changing those light bulbs. It's a serious, they're working on it.
Is there a time frame? Because it sounds like we just had a conversation and.
No, they're actively working on it. I'll try to get their time frame. But we did, that question was asked and there was an answer, and it was a major issue.
Gotcha.
I think there was a red, actually.
I can't remember if it was a power, something with a power feed or something.
But it is being addressed.
Carlton, I see you announced that you're rerunning. Are you aware that myself as well as Mr. Faruqi live within your district? Okay. I wasn't sure. It doesn't feel that way when we come to you as our councilman. It's not received as if you are our go-to person to speak to the city for us. If you are going to be the only person rerunning, then I think that there's a lot that you could do better in regards to your interaction with us as your constituent.
Thanks, Sharonda. Sarah French.
I want to start by saying what a breath of fresh air has been returned since June 2nd when Chief Mack entered our city. In just 2 weeks, I myself have seen the chief at events, smiling and engaging with the community. I haven't seen that indicator in the past 2 years. Not only that, some officers themselves have literally changed the way they respond to me and others. Now, I haven't had contact with many, but those I have been welcoming, kind, and again, I have not seen that in the past 2 years. It's refreshing and gives much hope to what lies ahead. We appreciate what the council did to get Chief Mack here. I do want to speak on John Scott, as we still have no action to where his death is concerned. Today marks 2 months since DPD attacked him, which then led to his death the following week. I understand it takes time. Unfortunately, this is the third death we have dealt with in 2 years, so I do understand it does take time. While we are waiting, though, these officers involved with John are still working their normal shifts. Actually, some of the same officers responded the other night to the stabbing situation where the suspect ended up passing away. I'm not suggesting foul play, but I do think until we find out what happened the night of John Scott, they should be at minimum on admin duty. Remember, the officer that killed Steve Perkins was actually already under investigation for the death of Jaden. Had he been on admin duty when his investigation was done, then Steve may still be here with us. Justice for Jaden, justice for Steve, and justice for John.
Thanks, Sarah. Anything else from council? All right, we'll stand adjourned. Thanks.